Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this.
Liverpool told ideal transfer replacement for Ibrahima Konate should be looking. Liverpool has been told that Nico Schlotterbeck should be considered as a possible replacement for Ibrahima Konate. Should the Frenchman depart Anfield next year? As things stand, Konate will become a free agent in June 2026. And he has been linked with a move to either Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain. Schlotterbeck's contract at Dortmund expires in 2027, but the Bundesliga club could sell him next summer if he does not commit to a fresh deal at the Westfalenstadion. Speaking to Poker Firma, former Germany centre-back Thomas Helmer said that Schlotterbeck would be an ideal replacement for Konate. He said, Nico Schlotterbeck is a player that all the big clubs should be looking at. There are reports in Germany that he will join Bayern Munich because he has not signed a new contract with Dortmund. He is a very good player, he's a strong left-footed central defender, and who's very clever with and without the ball. I personally think he would be a very good signing for Liverpool, who might be looking for a replacement for Ibrahima Konate if he goes to Real Madrid. He could play next to Virgil van Dijk on the left. That would be a very strong partnership. Despite the speculation surrounding Konate's future, Liverpool is reportedly feeling hopeful over its chances of tying him to a new contract at Anfield. The centre-back remains on the same terms he signed upon joining the Reds from RB Leipzig in 2021. Earlier this year it was suggested that Konate was asking for a pay rise from £80,000, $105,000 per week to £200,000, $263,000 per week. And updates on the Frenchman's future have been in short supply in recent months. As things stand, Konate will be free to sign a pre-contract agreement with a foreign club from January 1st onwards. However, Rousing the Cop reported earlier this week that Liverpool is confident of keeping hold of the 26-year-old and wants to tie him down before the end of the year. Talks between Liverpool and Konate are reported to have gone well over the last week, with Konate's camp insisting that it has not agreed terms with any other club over a free transfer for the defender next year. Konate does not give many interviews and has not spoken publicly about his future since May, when he talked about his goals with the club. This is another conversation with the club and my agent. We will see what will happen in the next few weeks, or I don't know when, but we will see. Let me say that. Are the talks progressing? Not really, but my agent met the club last week. But I don't know what will happen. I cannot say what my agent said to me, but yeah, we will see what will happen. Konate is believed to have turned down several contract offers from the Reds as he has not been happy with the terms offered to him. But the latest update suggests a breakthrough could be on the horizon. Liverpool team versus Nottingham Forest confirmed as Alexander Isak and Curtis Jones decisions made. Liverpool has confirmed its starting 11 to take on Nottingham Forest, with Arne Slot missing the likes of Florian Wirtz, Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong through injury. Alisson Becker returns in goal after missing 8 games with a hamstring issue, replacing Georgiou Mamardashvili. Dominic Szoboszlai, Ibrahima Konate, Virgil van Dijk and Milos Kerkez are in the defensive backline in front of him. Ryan Gravenberch is joined by Alexis Mac Allister and Curtis Jones in midfield, with Mohamed Salah, Alexander Isak and Cody Gakpo in attack. Hugo Ekitike is named among the substitutes and could start against PSV midweek in Europe. It is good to be back, Slot writes in the official matchday program. Not just because it has been a couple of weeks since we last played, but also to be at home in front of our own fans and the knowledge of the backing that we always receive here and the strong form that this contributes to. This is something that we cannot and should not lose sight of. The week before the international break did not end in the way we would have wanted it to, but this does not erase what happened in the 2 previous fixtures. Yes, it was a bad end to that week, but at the same time it should not be lost sight of that it was a bad end to a good week. Our victories and performances against Aston Villa and Real Madrid, too, teams who came to Anfield in very good form, allowed us to make 2 steps forward following a very difficult period in which results definitely were not good enough. So it was 2 steps forward followed by 1 step back, and this means we have made progress. At the same time as knowing there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and more steps that need to be taken, today brings us an opportunity on both fronts, and we know that, as always, the harder we work the more likely we are to make the progress that isn't just desired, It is a necessity of being part of a club like Liverpool where expectations are only ever really high and rightly. So, you only need to look at the fixture schedule to recognize how important the next few weeks and months are. Virgil van Dijk adds. Liverpool star could now leave in January deal as bombshell report drops. Liverpool has confirmed its starting sheet to take on Nottingham Forest, with Arne Slot missing the likes of Florian Wirtz, Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong through injury. Alisson Becker returns in goal after missing 8 games with a hamstring issue, replacing Georgiou Mamardashvili. Dominic Szoboszlai, Ibrahima Konate, Virgil van Dijk and Milos Kerkez are in the defensive backline in front of him. Ryan Gravenberch is joined by Alexis Mac Allister and Curtis Jones in midfield, with Mohamed Salah, Alexander Isak and Cody Gakpo in attack. Hugo Ekitike is named among the substitutes and could start against PSV midweek in Europe. It is good to be back, Slot writes in the official matchday program. Not just because it has been a couple of weeks since we last played, but also to be at home in front of our own fans and the knowledge of the backing that we always receive here and the strong form that this contributes to. This is something that we cannot and should not lose sight of. The week before the international break did not end in the way we would have wanted it to, but this does not erase what happened in the 2 previous fixtures. Yes, it was a bad end to that week, but at the same time it should not be lost sight of that it was a bad end to a good week. Our victories and performances against Aston Villa and Real Madrid, too, teams who came to Anfield in very good form, allowed us to make 2 steps forward following a very difficult period in which results definitely were not good enough. Liverpool fight to sign £100 million new Casemiro. Liverpool made £450 million worth of signings in the summer transfer window but neglected to add to their midfield options. In fact, Richard Hughes weakened the midfield sector, concluding outbound deals for Harvey Elliott and James McConnell on loan while allowing Tyler Morton to join Lyon. The strain is beginning to tell on Liverpool's midfield quintet: Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis Mac Allister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones and Wataru Endo. All but Szoboszlai have missed matches through injury this season, and the Hungarian has been asked to fill in at right back, defensive midfield and elsewhere. Liverpool joined Man Atd in Elliot Anderson battle. Accordingly, it has been speculated that the Premier League champions may look to conclude a deal for a midfielder sometime soon. Among the options discussed is Elliot Anderson. The 23-year-old swapped Newcastle for Nottingham Forest in a £35 million deal back in 2024. And since his transfer to the Tricky Trees, he has been in imperious form, barging his way into the England setup and looking a good bet to start for Thomas Tuchel's side at the FIFA World Cup next summer. It looks like Liverpool will be joining Manchester United and Newcastle in chasing a deal for Anderson, according to a new report in the Times. Man Atd see Anderson as Casemiro replacement. Man Atd reportedly view Anderson as a replacement for Casemiro, whose £18 million per year contract is not expected to be renewed next summer. Club view 23-year-old as possible replacement for Casemiro, but could face competition, with Liverpool and Newcastle also linked with Nottingham Forest midfielder, the report reads. Forest paid Newcastle £35 million for Anderson, but given the rise in his quality and status, they could demand as much as £100 million for the player, and there are likely to be plenty of interested clubs. Anderson could cost £100. Manderson is under contract with Sean Dyche's side until 2029 and is an indispensable member of their lineup. He has played every minute of the Premier League season thus far, scoring last time out against Leeds United. Anderson has dominated the midfield for Forest this term from his defensive midfield station. He excels in carrying the ball as well as in recoveries, according to FotMob. Arne Slot could dearly use his energy in the middle third, where Alexis has been short of his best this term. Alexander Isak Liverpool transfer criticisms blasted as ex-teammate makes defiant promise. Nacho Monreal has thrown his support behind Alexander Isak and predicted that the Swedish striker will soon silence his critics at Liverpool after a slow start. Isak, 26, made a Premier League record-breaking £125 million move to Anfield from Newcastle United in September. However, since swapping St James Park for Merseyside, Isak has only found the back of the net once in 8 appearances, with fitness and injury issues hampering his progress. The forward effectively went on strike to secure his exit from Newcastle during the summer, training alone for most of preseason and not featuring in any of the Magpies friendlies or opening Premier League matches. After finally securing his move to Liverpool, Isak was left playing catch-up due to his disjointed summer, with both Liverpool and Sweden managing his game time carefully as a result. His progress was further hindered when he was forced off at halftime during Liverpool's win over Eintracht Frankfurt last month, missing 4 games as a result. Isak returned to the squad as an unused substitute for Liverpool's 3-0 defeat to Man City before the November international break. He then made his return from injury as a substitute for Sweden in their 4-1 loss to Switzerland, but was left on the bench against Slovenia to avoid the risk of suspension. Former Arsenal defender Nacho Monreal spent 2 seasons alongside Alexander Isak at Real Sociedad, featuring in 65 matches together during the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons. The Spaniard acknowledges things have been challenging for the Swedish striker at Liverpool so far, as he continues to face questions over his limited impact at Anfield relative to his substantial transfer fee. However, having witnessed his quality at close quarters, Monreal has no doubts that Isak will soon find the net regularly to silence doubters and re-establish himself amongst the Premier League's elite forwards. It's been very difficult for Alexander Isak, Monreal admitted to Betin. He clearly wanted to go to Liverpool at the start of the summer transfer window. The fact it didn't happen until right at the end meant he didn't get a preseason, which has clearly had a big impact on his fitness. He's not at his top level yet and still needs minutes on the pitch to get up to that top level, but when he gets there, I have no doubt he'll prove he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He has done it for Newcastle over the last few seasons and he's going to do the same for Liverpool. I've seen firsthand how much quality he has and it's just a matter of time before he shows it in a red shirt. In my opinion, he's a brilliant signing for Liverpool. He needs time to get fit, but when that happens, people will see what he can do. They paid a lot of money for him, but I don't think you can say he's a waste of money or anything like that. When you bring in a top striker like Isak, you are going to have to pay big money for them. I doubt that when he starts scoring 20-plus goals a season, many will talk about the transfer fee. The Reds return to Premier League action following the international break with a home fixture against Nottingham Forest on Saturday, with manager Arne Slot expressing his disappointment that Isak was unable to feature more extensively for Sweden due to his recent injury setback. The biggest issue we've faced until now, and are still facing, is the match fitness of the players and the time they've missed in preseason, he explained at his pre-match press conference. Alex Isak, now we were hoping for him to play a little bit more for the Swedish national team. Unfortunately, he was 1 yellow away from being suspended, so for obvious reasons they didn't play him the second time. But for us it would have been better if he had some minutes in the second game. Liverpool transfer spend to approach unbelievable £500 million. Liverpool's transfer spend for the season is approaching £500 million and could soon pass that figure. That's if their January plans come to pass. Liverpool underwent a remarkable rebuild over the summer as they broke transfer records all over the place. Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez arrived as the most expensive right-back and left-back in the Reds' history, while Hugo Ekitike became the most expensive striker. Though that was only half of it. Liverpool twice broke their transfer record with the first 9-figure signings in their history. Florian Wirtz was the first to arrive, costing around £100 million before add-ons as he joined from Bayer Leverkusen. Then the Reds closed the window by signing Alexander Isak from Newcastle United for a British transfer record fee. He's now the most expensive striker in Liverpool's history, eclipsing the Ekitike fee, but also simply the most expensive player to ever join a British club. All in all, Liverpool splashed out around £400 million on new players, and while over £200 million came in through sales, it's the kind of money they've never spent before. Incredibly, they're not even done. Liverpool's transfer spend. It appears another £100 million could go on players just in January. The first chunk of cash could go on Mark Dewey, who was supposed to join Liverpool at the close of the summer transfer window. Crystal Palace collapsed that deal at the last minute, but with his contract expiring at the end of the season, the Eagles are under pressure to sell. Liverpool's interest is public knowledge at this point, and a cut-price deal is on the cards, but that's not all. Fabrizio Romano confirmed this week that Liverpool have eyes on Antoine Semenyo, who has a £65 million release clause this winter. There Weighing up a transfer, and it's potentially an important one, Liverpool need a new winger, having sold Luis Diaz without a replacement, while Semenyo could potentially fill the void. Mo Salah will leave when he plays for Egypt at AFCON. Semenyo will not be at the tournament after Ghana failed to qualify. So we're looking at another £65 million on Semenyo and then potentially £15 million to £20 million on Gehi if all goes to plan. That would push Liverpool's spending beyond £500 million for the season, and they'd be approaching it with just one signing. The question remains, though, have they actually made the team better? Liverpool hit by huge double injury blow amid Alisson Becker fitness boost. Liverpool boss Arne Slot has ruled both Florian Wirtz and Conor Bradley out of Liverpool's Premier League clash with Nottingham Forest on Saturday. However, Alisson Becker is fit to return. Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson has been absent since sustaining a hamstring injury in the Reds' 1-0 defeat at Galatasaray on September 30th, missing 8 matches as a result, but he will return to the side to take on Forest. Discussing the latest injury news before the game, Slot said, "Alisson trained last week and this week, so he will be able to play if things work out today, but we do have some issues after the international break. Conor Bradley is unable to play, Florian Wirtz unable to play. That is far from ideal. The injury to Bradley leaves Slot without a recognized right back, and the Liverpool head coach expects to be without both the Northern Irishman and the currently absent Jeremy Frimpong for at least 3 weeks. Elaborating on the injuries, Slot said, "Both muscle issues. I don't expect Conor to be part of the upcoming 22 days, maybe the end unless a miracle happens. Florian maybe should not be that long. Jeremy is out just as long, won't be available in the next few weeks."
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.